Hi, welcome back. Jeanine's Kitchen. Jeanine here. And we had a good video last night. I was chatting with you all about my crafting when I'm not cooking, and Vinny going to see Napoleon, which he thought was a little slow, right? And boring. So that's another little tip. Finally, I've been asking people all the time to request a recipe. And a lovely person named Judy requested me to make something with tomato paste and pecorino cheese. Thank you, Judy, because that was simple. Two little ingredients, and I appreciate it. So we're going to make this for Judy and for us because it's our lunch. So if you don't like this recipe, you could request, okay? But we're going to make red bean pasta fazool for two. That's what we're going to do. Let me get the first part going. I had to keep the pot away because my crazy girl stove, everybody knows, she's on a 3. If I put her on a 4, watch how fast this little lady heats my oil and the garlic. First up, use a very good virgin olive oil. Okay, I would say 2 to 3 tablespoons. Okay, we love olive oil. Some people say, oh my God, that's too much. It's not too much. You decide. It's for 2 people. When you see the portions here, I want Vinny to see me chopping some because we use a lot of footage of all the prep work and other things and shorts. As you'll see when you see my page, we did a white pasta fazool and then Vinny made a short for it. A lot of fun. Okay, let's get that in. See, now she's in the mood to be prissy. Let's give her a 5 and see what she does. Okay, it's enough that I got enough to say. You know I won't run out of words. And I did a little fact check. I wasn't talking out of my hat last night. I went on the shelves, and in fact, Campbell's Soup, believe it or not, bought Rayo's pasta sauce from a bigger company. Okay, I think Heinz, I'm not sure, but they did in fact buy them. Now you're going to see it a little bit cheaper, which I said is good for people, but everything's going to change. They're putting soups and they want to expand the frozen food line. A little crazy, I don't know. I just want to share that with you guys. And Bella Giosa did buy Polio, so if anybody finds an alternative to that cheese I'm in search of, please let me know, please. See, it's starting to sizzle. Now that was 3 cloves of garlic that I added. Okay, fresh. Medium size, nothing big, nothing too tiny. 3 medium cloves. If you like 4, put 4. If you want 5, if you're a garlic lover, it's not going to hurt this dish. I've made it so many times. The thing I do want to share with you is that I perfected this down for 2 people because me and my hubby love it. Love it. Love it. But it is a dish that is usually made for families. I've been eating it my whole life. My mom made it, my grandmother before her. It's pasta fazool, and everybody knows it feeds like a family of 6 or 8. I had to narrow it down to 2, and what it's like doing is asking you or a bubba to make soup, the dumpling and soup down for 2. You can't do it, chicken and dumplings, or say, Mom, make beef stew for 2, or a pot roast for 2. They're big dishes, they're big pot meals, and they're hard to get that flavor unless you sit and practice, which I did with this dish because I love it that much. And I think it's the perfect measurement. So it's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil so far, and I'm going to have everything in the directions, you know that, and all the tips and the things I didn't get to say on camera that you know I can't shut up. I have to tell you, somehow, some way, I find a way like I did last night. And forgive me, but I love you all for listening. Okay. Now, here comes the addition that Judy wanted to see. This is the red bean because I had mentioned in a previous video that the northern pasta fazool is with the white bean and it's white sauce. The southern is the red bean with a red. The red comes from adding tomatoes. We're using paste today, and I would say about a teaspoon. See? Maybe a little less. I don't know because it's very concentrated, very strong. You can always add a little bit more. Let me get the double spoon thing and do this so I don't get my hands on anything. I don't want to put my fingers in soup. Okay, so put that there. And see, now we're going to cook it up a little bit. We're going to emulsify it with the garlic. And like I was saying, this is the southern version. But they also do it in the white bean pasta fazool. It goes in both, either way, because people like all different styles. Nothing wrong with that. I like both. We had about 2 weeks ago the white one, and it has oregano. This one, I've seen a Tuscan version of the red bean, and the herb they prefer, like, or enjoy is rosemary, fresh. I didn't have any fresh. I bought dried. I'm not going to put it today, but if you wanted to, you can. Okay. Now, you asked for 2 simple ingredients, Judy, and there was 100 recipes I could have given you with this. But one I would mention, if you want to know an even simpler one, I made it recently. It was the rigatoni alla vodka. That is simply done with shallot. Instead of garlic, it would be shallot and tomato paste, much more tomato paste. And then you do what I'm doing here. You emulsify the two together. You add a little bit of vodka and heavy cream, and that's vodka sauce, alla vodka. And you finish the pasta with the Parmesan or Pecorino, whichever you like. So you could have done that. The video's up if you like that, also to take a peek. If you don't like beans or pasta with beans, check that out. This also is the base for a lot of other recipes. Garlic, olive oil, and tomato paste, you got a base of a sauce here. Now, if you wanted to do something different, I'll tell you after I do mine because I don't want to confuse myself. I love to cook. I think I'm good, but I'm not great. All right, that looks good to me. Now, here we go. You don't rinse these beans. I don't take anything out. I use the Goya small red bean, okay? And we want that starch. That's what's going to give us that creaminess. And it's 3/4 of the can measurement here. I'm going to show you. Okay. Maybe a little bit more of those beans because that's good. See what I leave behind? I took all the starch and the beans, and I leave about 1/4 of the can because it's too much beans for a cup of rice, cup of pasta. Okay. Now we're going to put in the pasta next. Now I measure it out, and I use tubettini. This is by Anna because it's the closest I could get to the original. My mom always made it with Ronzoni tubettini, which is not on the shelves anymore. Another loss. I don't know. I decided to cook and be on YouTube, and everything's going away that I grew up with. So I'll find alternatives. Here it is. 1 cup. And you see how small they are? That's the small. Because the Ditalini is double that size. And it does make a difference on the bite in the taste. It will. For me, I don't know. Maybe I'm like a pasta Fazool aficionado or a crazy lady. Here's one of these containers are fantastic for this, the measurement, because you don't want to waste a whole 32-ounce container. So I found these. They come in a little 4-pack, and they're fantastic. 1 whole of this, and I use the chicken broth low sodium. It's organic. It's a few pennies more. It's not much, but it did give it a nice flavor. That's by Pacific, organic chicken broth low sodium. And I would still, even if you're not watching your salt, do the low sodium because these products and broths tend to have a lot of salt in them, and they will change your dish. Okay, now in addition to the one, I mix it with a little water, 1/2 cup. Because we're going to have to, that's all the liquid's going to have to get that pasta cooked. So it's maybe a little more. I'd probably put 3/4. You start with 1/2. You can always add. And the reason for that is you want the pasta to absorb all the liquid, but you don't want any mushiness. That's why I scaled it down. When you make this for a big pot portion and a whole family, you have to eat it right away. Otherwise, everybody knows the pasta swells and it becomes mush. You have to eat this right away. And Vincent and I will finish this whole portion. It could be for 3, but you know, we're little piggies for pasta. All right, so that has to simmer. You cannot leave it. That's the only sad part about this. You have to be dedicated to your pasta Fazool. You got to be dedicated because I'll tell you why. If you leave, it will stick to the bottom because the pasta's in here raw. That's what happens. So I'm going to let her get up a little bit more of a boil. And once she starts rolling a bit, I'm going to put it down to more of a simmer again. And just wait. It takes how long would you say? I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there. You see how tiny the pasta is? You'll know when all this liquid's absorbed and the pasta is done. Because we're going to cut for that time, and I'm going to come back and show you what the finished result will look like. I'll tell you if I had to add more water, because that's all you need to do. You're stirring, and let's say you see the water almost all evaporated and gone, but you taste a little piece of your pasta and say, oh, it's still too al dente for me. You just add more water. That's all you have to do. If you kept turning and you're watching, it's just a matter of adding a little bit of more water till the pasta is to your liking. That's it. But that's the entire recipe. Garlic, some tomato paste, good olive oil, 3/4 of a can of the red Goya beans with the starch, chicken broth, one tiny container, and then we'll come back and show you what it looks like when we finish it with the Parmesan. Okay, she's done, and I'm smiling because I'm hungry and it smells delicious. A lot of people want to show you something. A lot of Italians and, you know, chefs, they take about a couple of tablespoons out and they put it in an emulsion blender to get the creaminess. Come closer, Vinny, show them. This is the consistency we like. See, it's not too watery. Okay, in order to get that, I'll show you a quick way. In the pan, just press some of the beans and some of the garlic against the side of the pot. You're going to get the same thing they get in a blender, emulsifying it. Okay, that's that. This way you don't have to go and take out a cup. If you want to do it, that's fine. Everybody gets their own choice. Make it yours. See, every little bean you crush is adding more starch. You're breaking up garlic to flatten it. And look, you see this little corner is already getting, watch, I'll show you. See? Now look, it just adds instant creaminess. Also, if you want it more tomatoey, I'm going to put all of that in the instructions, any little tips and tricks. If you don't have paste, you could do it with Hunt's tomato paste. You could do it with passata. That's a thin tomato sauce. You could do it with leftover marinara. It doesn't have to be tomato paste, but I did it for Judy so she could see. She asked for Parmesan. Let's plate it, and I'll show you right now because we are hungry. I'm going to plate this baby. She's not the prettiest, but it's the most delicious. Okay. Say when, Vinny?
One more. That's good.
Good? Okay. And you see the ratio of beans to pasta? And this is you can put salt if you like. We don't add it because there's a lot. We prefer the pecorino. That's another choice. We do the pecorino because I grew up with it. I just like it. It's only because it's more salty. It's probably why I'm used to it. But if you want it, here's some Parmesan. And they were on sale at Publix here in Florida. 2 for $6. This is from Italy. This is good. And this is that more shaved like. And I did some Googling. You can freeze this unopened. So I bought like 4 bags and I have some in the freezer. So that's a good tip. And I just want to show you guys something because you see how I made this with the tomato paste and just a can of beans and some garlic laying around, and you could keep this in the freezer. Let me show you quick. Let me show them my freezer here where I keep stuff. And this way you always have it on hand. This is a great little gadget. These are restaurant cups. They're condiment cups. They sell them in Publix by the pack. And what I keep is tomato paste. I keep pureed garlic. I'll do a video on that. I'll direct you. I keep pesto in tiny portions if I wanted to add to a soup. And if I'm going to eat it in pasta, I have a larger portion. And I have the pine nuts because they freeze. Pine nuts, all nuts freeze and they last longer. This tiny bag was $13, so you know I'm freezing that for another pesto recipe. But that's a good tip and trick. So I pulled out my tomato paste when you requested the dish. And look at the lunch we got now. Delish. And that's it, my lovely YouTube people. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you, Judy, for requesting. And think of more stuff. If I could do it, I will. Jean, my good subscriber, I have not forgot you. I have to build up the courage to make my own favorite dish. The sausage and broccoli rabe with orecchiette. I'm working it through because that's a tough one. I think I made it once, and I want to perfect it before I come on camera with it. But I didn't forget you. And to my friend Gloria, mwah, love you much. Can't wait to see you in March. Thank you for sharing me and talking about me. You're the best.